step through the veil of centuries, and stand with me. We have arrived at the crossroads of empires, where Europe meets Asia across a shimmering strait. Look around you. These weathered limestone blocks and ancient brick courses once formed the mightiest walls in Christendom, the Theodosian walls. For over 1,000 years, they stood as the final barrier between civilization and chaos. Behind us rises the dome that defied gravity itself, the Hagia Sophia, its gold mosaics still catching light after 15 centuries. You are standing in Constantinople, the city that was meant to be eternal. This is the Byzantine Empire, and tonight we begin a complete journey through 1123 years of power, faith, and survival. We will witness Emperor Constantine's audacious vision to build a new Rome on these 7 hills. We will walk through Justinian's golden age, when this city held 500,000 souls and Byzantine armies reconquered the Mediterranean. We will explore the streets where silk merchants traded with Vikings, where Greek philosophers debated theology, where artisans created mosaics so intricate they seemed to glow from within. We will stand on these very walls as Arab fleets attack with Greek fire blazing across the water. We will experience the empire's greatest triumphs and its darkest betrayals, including the unthinkable moment when Christian Crusaders turned their swords against fellow Christians. And we will be here on that final dawn in 1453, when Ottoman cannons finally breached these ancient stones. This is not just another history lesson. This is the complete story of how one empire preserved the knowledge of the ancient world through Europe's darkest centuries, how it shaped Orthodox Christianity, how its legal codes became the foundation of modern law, and how its fall redirected the course of human civilization. Every episode will advance through time, revealing not just the grand events, but how people actually lived, what they believed, what they built, and what they left behind. What you are about to discover changed everything. The Renaissance, the spread of Christianity across Eastern Europe, the age of exploration, even the legal systems we use today, all trace their roots to this place, to these stones, to this empire that refused to die. If you want to experience complete journeys through lost civilizations, subscribe now. Each week, we unlock another ancient world and tell its full story from beginning to end. Now, let us begin our journey at the very beginning, in the year 324, when one emperor dared to imagine a city that would outlast Rome itself. The Bosporus narrows to less than 700 meters, where Europe and Asia nearly touch. Here, on a triangular peninsula jutting into the strait, the ancient Greek colony of Byzantium has stood for nearly 1,000 years, its harbors sheltering merchant vessels traveling between the Mediterranean and Black Sea. On November 8, 324 CE, Emperor Constantine I surveys this strategic ground with the eyes of an architect and visionary. 6 years of civil war have ended. Rome's empire, fractured and bleeding, requires transformation. The emperor's engineers drive stakes into limestone bedrock, marking walls that will enclose 7 hills mirroring Rome itself. The Golden Horn, a deep natural harbor shaped like a curved blade, provides perfect anchorage for naval fleets. Across the Bosporus, Asian shores shimmer in morning light, close enough to control, far enough to defend. Constantine sees what others cannot, a city positioned to command 3 continents, where trade routes converge and armies must pass. Construction transforms the peninsula. Limestone blocks rise in courses 15 meters high, enclosing 4 square kilometers. Workers dismantle temples across the empire, shipping marble columns and bronze statuary eastward. The Hippodrome takes shape, a massive arena 450 meters long, its spine decorated with Egyptian obelisks and the bronze serpent column from Delphi. The Senate House rises near the Imperial Palace complex. At the city's heart, Constantine erects a porphyry column 35 meters tall, topped with his own image as Apollo, sun rays crowning his head. May 11th, 330 CE, 40 days of consecration ceremonies culminate in the city's formal dedication. Constantinople, Constantine's city, becomes the empire's eastern capital. The emperor establishes bread distributions for 80,000 citizens, replicating Rome's social systems. The first Hagia Sophia, a timber-roofed basilica, rises on the Acropolis. Christian churches replace pagan temples, their interiors gleaming with marble revetment and early mosaics. The Million, a marble monument marking the empire's center, stands in the Augustan Square, from which all distances will be measured. The city grows with calculated precision. 14 regions divide the urban space. Aqueducts channel water from forests 20 kilometers distant. The Meerze, the middle street, cuts through the city from the Golden Gate to the Great Palace, its colonnaded porticos sheltering workshops and merchant stalls. By 350 CE, the population reaches 100,000 souls. February 27, 380 CE. Emperor Theodosius I issues the Edict of Thessalonica, declaring Nicene Christianity the empire's sole legitimate religion. Constantinople becomes not merely a political capital, but Christianity's eastern fortress. On January 17, 395 CE, Theodosius dies in Milan. His will divides the Roman Empire permanently between his sons. Arcadius receives the east, Honorius the west. Constantinople will never again bow to Rome's authority. The division, intended as administrative convenience, becomes civilization's fault line. Two empires emerge from one, and the Eastern realm, Greek in language, Christian in faith, Roman in law, begins its transformation into something unprecedented. April 1st, 527 CE. A 45-year-old senator ascends the throne in the Kathisma, the imperial box overlooking the Hippodrome. Justin I, the illiterate peasant soldier who became emperor, has died. His nephew Justinian inherits an empire of 1 million square kilometers and a vision that will consume 4 decades, restore Rome's Mediterranean unity. Beside him stands Theodora, former actress from the Hippodrome's lower tiers, now Augusta. Their partnership will reshape the world. January 13th, 532 CE. The Hippodrome erupts. Blues and greens, rival chariot factions that divide Constantinople's populace, unite against imperial tax policies. __quote_0__, conquer, conquer! The crowds roar. Flames consume the city center. The original Hagia Sophia, built under Constantine's son, collapses into ash. Rioters proclaim a new emperor. In the great palace, Justinian prepares to flee. Theodora's words halt him. An emperor who runs is no emperor. General Belisarius leads loyal troops into the Hippodrome. 30,000 bodies fall beneath swords. The rebellion dies in blood. February 23rd, 532 CE. Justinian summons Anthemius of Tralles, mathematician, and Isidore of Miletus, physicist. Build a church that surpasses Solomon's temple. 10,000 workers quarry porphyry from Egypt, verde antico from Thessaly, white marble from Proconnesian islands. 100 master masons coordinate the construction. The plan defies architectural logic. A massive dome, 31 meters across, rising 56 meters above the floor, supported not by solid walls, but by 4 pendentives, curved triangular sections that transfer weight to corner piers. December 27th, 537 CE. Justinian enters the completed Hagia Sophia. 40 windows circle the dome's base, making it appear to float on light. 100,000 pounds of gold cover the mosaics. __quote_1___, the emperor whispers. June 533, CE 500 transport ships depart Constantinople, carrying Belisarius and 15,000 soldiers. Target: Vandal Kingdom controlling North Africa's grain provinces. September 13th, 533 CE. The Battle of Ad Decimum, 16 kilometers from Carthage. Byzantine cavalry shatters Vandal lines. By March 534 CE, North Africa returns to imperial control after 95 years of separation. May 535 CE, Belisarius lands in Sicily. The Italian campaign begins. December 9th, 536 CE. Byzantine forces enter Rome through the Asinarian Gate. The Gothic War grinds forward. Sieges, famines, plague. March 540 CE, Ravenna falls. Belisarius captures Gothic king Vitiges. By 554 CE, after 19 years of warfare, Italy rejoins the empire. In southern Spain, Byzantine troops seize coastal territories. The Mediterranean becomes Roman again. 3.5 million square kilometers under Constantinople's purple banners. While armies march, legal scholars labor. Tribonian, Justinian's quaestor, leads a commission compiling 1,000 years of Roman jurisprudence. April 7th, 529 CE. The Codex Justinianus, imperial constitutions organized systematically. December 533 CE. The Digest, 50 volumes distilling classical legal writings. The Institutes, a legal textbook. The Corpus Juris Civilis becomes European law's foundation, surviving empire's fall. In Constantinople's imperial workshops, artisans weave silk thread into purple cloth. The empire guards sericulture's secrets jealously. Silk production means wealth, means power. Merchants from Persia, India, and China crowd the Mazi, the colonnaded avenue stretching from the Million to the Golden Gate. Gold solidus coins, stamped with Justinian's profile, circulate from Britain to Ceylon, the medieval world's reserve currency. Yet triumph carries seeds of catastrophe. 541 CE ships from Egypt bring grain and rats. The rats carry fleas. The fleas carry Yersinia pestis. The Justinianic plague spreads through Constantinople. 5,000 deaths daily at its peak, then 10,000. Bodies pile in towers when graveyards overflow. The pandemic ravages the empire until 549 CE, killing perhaps half the population. Tax revenues collapse. Military recruitment falters. November 14th, 565 CE, Justinian dies at 83, having ruled 38 years. His reconquest proves temporary. Lombards will seize northern Italy within 3 years, but his legal code and his great church endure, monuments to the last emperor who dreamed of Roman universality. The Empire Justinian leaves behind hemorrhages territory like a wounded giant. 568 CE, Lombards pour into northern Italy, seizing Milan and Pavia. The reconquered west crumbles, but the true catastrophe emerges from the east. Persian Sassanid armies under Khosrau II invade Syria in 602 CE, then Egypt, then Anatolia itself. By 615 CE, Persian forces camp at Chalcedon, visible across the Bosporus from Constantinople's walls. The empire loses its wealthiest provinces, the grain of Egypt, the cities of Syria, Jerusalem's holy sites. Tax revenues collapse to a fraction of Justinian's era. 610 CE. A 35-year-old general named Heraclius sails from Carthage, overthrows the incompetent emperor Phocas, and inherits catastrophe. He finds an empty treasury and an empire reduced to Anatolia, Constantinople, and scattered holdings. For 12 years he rebuilds the army, melting church plate into coin to pay soldiers. Then he gambles everything. 622 CE. Heraclius bypasses Persian-held territories, sails to the Caucasus, and strikes into Persia's heartland. His cavalry defeats Persian armies at Nineveh in 627 CE. Khosrau II falls to assassination. 628 CE, Persia sues for peace, returning all conquered territories. The True Cross returns to Jerusalem in triumph. The celebration lasts 6 years. 634 CE, Arab armies explode from the desert, unified by a new faith. Muslim cavalry commanded by Khalid ibn al-Walid annihilate a Byzantine army at Yarmouk in 636 CE. Syria falls. 641 CE. Arab forces take Alexandria. Egypt, the empire's breadbasket for 7 centuries, is lost forever. 647 CE. Arabs raid into North Africa. By 698 CE, Carthage falls. The Mediterranean ceases to be a Roman lake. The empire contracts to Anatolia, the Balkans, and Constantinople, from 3.5 million square kilometers to 1.5 million in 60 years. August 7th, 626 CE. 80,000 Avar and Slavic warriors besiege Constantinople from the land, while Persian armies watch from Chalcedon. The Theodosian walls hold, defenders rain stones and arrows from the triple fortifications. Avar siege towers burn. The attack collapses after 10 days, but the Arab threat proves more persistent. 674 CE. An Arab fleet blockades Constantinople, establishing a base at Cyzicus. For 4 years, every spring, Arab ships attack. The city's survival depends on a mysterious weapon. A Greek refugee from Syria named Kallinikos develops an incendiary mixture: petroleum, quicklime, sulfur, and secret ingredients that burns on water. Byzantine dromons mount bronze siphons at their prows, pressurized tubes that spray liquid fire. Arab ships explode into flame. Sailors who jump overboard burn in the water. 678 CE. The Arab fleet withdraws in defeat, having lost thousands of men to the substance they call Roman fire. The formula remains a state secret, known only to imperial chemists. The weapon buys time, but not peace. Arab armies continue raiding Anatolia annually. 717 CE. A massive Arab force under Caliph Suleiman, 80,000 soldiers and 1,800 ships, launches the greatest assault yet on Constantinople. The siege will test whether the city that has survived 3 centuries can endure another winter of starvation and fire. August 15th, 717 CE. The Arab fleet fills the Sea of Marmara. 1,800 vessels carrying siege engines, supplies for a year-long blockade. Caliph Suleiman's 80,000 soldiers surround the Theodosian walls on the landward side. Inside Constantinople, Emperor Leo III, a Syrian-born general who seized the throne months earlier, commands 7,000 defenders and a starving population. The Arabs settle into winter camps, confident the city will surrender before spring. They miscalculate. Byzantine dromons slip through the blockade at night, Greek fire siphons igniting Arab supply ships. The winter of 717 to 718 proves the coldest in decades. Arab soldiers freeze in their tents, horses die by the thousands. Bulgarian cavalry, allied with Leo, attack Arab camps from the rear. By August 718, the siege collapses. Suleiman's successor orders retreat. Only 5 of the original 1,800 ships return to Syria. Constantinople survives, but Leo draws a dangerous conclusion. God granted victory because the empire has fallen into idolatry. 726 CE, Leo issues an edict that will tear Byzantine civilization apart for over a century. Religious icons, painted panels of Christ, Mary, and saints venerated in churches and homes, are declared violations of the Second Commandment's prohibition against graven images. Imperial soldiers enter the chalk gate of the Great Palace and remove the golden icon of Christ above the entrance. A mob of women attacks the soldiers. Blood stains the palace forecourt. The iconoclast controversy begins. The theological argument runs deep. Iconoclasts believe depicting Christ in human form denies his divine nature, reducing God to mere paint and wood. Icons lead simple believers into idolatry, worshipping objects rather than the divine reality they represent. Iconodules counter that Christ's incarnation in human flesh makes his image permissible. To deny his depiction denies the reality of his humanity. Icons serve as windows to the divine, not objects of worship themselves. 730 CE, Leo orders systematic destruction. Soldiers enter churches across the empire with hammers and chisels. Mosaic tesserae depicting Christ's face shatter and fall. Painted icons burn in courtyards. Monastery walls lose their frescoes to whitewash and plaster. Monks who resist face exile or execution. The artistic traditions perfected over 4 centuries. The subtle modeling of faces in gold-backed glass. The spiritual intensity captured in painted eyes. Face extinction. The controversy becomes dynastic. Leo's son Constantine V intensifies persecution after 741 CE monasteries close. Monks flee to southern Italy or hide in remote Cappadocian caves. Imperial workshops that once produced icons now create only geometric patterns and images of the cross. Yet resistance persists. Empress Irene, ruling as regent for her son Constantine VI, convenes the Second Council of Nicaea in 787 CE. 367 bishops declare icon veneration orthodox. Churches begin restoring their mosaics. The restoration proves temporary. 814 CE Emperor Leo V renews iconoclasm. Another generation of artists sees their work destroyed. Theological debates rage in monastery scriptoria and palace halls. The empire fights Arabs and Bulgars while tearing itself apart over images. March 11, 843 CE. Empress Theodora, widow of the iconoclast Emperor Theophilos, ends the controversy forever. She convenes a council declaring icon veneration orthodox doctrine. The date becomes the Feast of Orthodoxy, celebrated annually. Artists emerge from hiding. Workshops reopen. The Chora Church's walls receive new frescoes. Hagia Sophia's apse mosaic of the Virgin and Child, destroyed in iconoclasm, rises again in glittering gold tesserae. The controversy costs the empire dearly. Thousands of priceless artworks vanish forever. Artistic continuity breaks, yet Byzantine civilization survives, its identity as a Christian empire preserving sacred images now central to its self-understanding. September 24, 867 CE. A former stablehand turned imperial bodyguard enters the great palace's Chrysotriklinos, the golden reception hall where mechanical lions roar and golden birds sing in jeweled trees. Basil the Macedonian, peasant-born, illiterate, ruthless, murders Emperor Michael III and seizes the throne. The act appears barbaric. Yet Basil I founds a dynasty that will rule for nearly 2 centuries, presiding over the empire's medieval golden age. The new emperor understands power requires legitimacy beyond the sword. He commissions legal scholars to update Justinian's ancient codes, producing the Basilica in 60 books of Greek law. Architects restore earthquake-damaged churches. The Nea Ecclesia rises beside the palace, its 5 domes representing Christ and the 4 evangelists, setting the template for Byzantine church design. Basil dies in a hunting accident in 886 CE, but his son Leo VI continues the cultural renaissance. Leo VI writes theological treatises and military manuals. His 113 novels update imperial law. The Book of the Eparch regulates Constantinople's guilds, goldsmiths, silk merchants, perfumers, notaries, each with strict rules governing quality, pricing, apprenticeships. Court ceremonies grow increasingly elaborate. The Cleterologion of Philotheos lists 58 imperial titles in precise hierarchical order, from Caesar down to Spatharocandidatos. Every gesture, every garment color, every position in processions reinforces the cosmic order with the emperor as God's regent on earth. Military revival follows cultural flowering. Nikephoros II Phocas, an ascetic general who sleeps on a panther skin, reconquers Crete in 961 CE after 135 years of Arab control. His fleet of 2,000 dromons and 77,000 soldiers storms Chandax, finding the harbor chained and fortified. Greek fire clears the defenses. March 7, 961 CE, the city falls. 4 years later, Nikephoros takes Cyprus. The empire's eastern frontier pushes into Syria. Antioch, lost in 638 CE, returns to Byzantine control in 969 CE. The Varangian Guard arrives in 988 CE. 6,000 axe-wielding warriors from the Rus principalities, oath-bound to the emperor alone. Their double-bladed axes gleam in palace corridors. They drink heavily, fight ferociously, remain incorruptible. Vladimir of Kiev sends them as payment for marrying the emperor's sister, converting his realm to Orthodox Christianity. Byzantine missionaries spread the faith northward, creating the Cyrillic alphabet for Slavic peoples. Basil II ascends the throne in 976 CE at age 18. He will rule for 49 years, transforming the empire into the Mediterranean's dominant power. The Bulgarian Empire under Tsar Samuel controls the Balkans, raiding Byzantine territory annually. Basil campaigns relentlessly for decades. July 29, 1014 CE, the Battle of Clydion. Byzantine forces trap Samuel's army in a mountain pass. 15,000 Bulgarian soldiers surrender. Basil orders 99 of every 100 blinded, leaving one man with a single eye to guide each century home. Samuel dies of shock seeing his mutilated army return. 4 years later, Bulgaria submits completely. The empire reaches 1.8 million square kilometers. Revenue flows from Balkan silver mines, Anatolian wheat fields, Italian ports. The treasury holds 14,000 kilograms of gold. Scriptoria produce illuminated manuscripts on purple-dyed vellum, their margins filled with gold chrysography. Ivory carvers create triptychs showing Christ, the Virgin, and saints in delicate relief. Cloisonné enamel work adorns reliquaries and crowns, gold cells filled with colored glass, creating images of impossible intricacy. December 15th, 1025, CE Basil II dies childless after 49 years of rule, having never married, dedicating his life entirely to the empire. He leaves Byzantium at its medieval zenith, militarily supreme, culturally flourishing, economically prosperous. The Macedonian Renaissance proves the empire's resilience, its ability to transform catastrophe into triumph. Dawn breaks over the Golden Horn, and the city awakens. 400,000 souls inhabit Constantinople in the 11th century, making it the largest metropolis west of Baghdad. The Mese, the middle street, runs from the Million Milestone westward through the city's heart, its limestone paving stones worn smooth by centuries of foot traffic. Along this artery, 4,000 shops and workshops open their shutters as merchants arrange their wares. The Augustan Square fills with humanity. Silk merchants from the imperial workshops display bolts of purple-dyed fabric, the color reserved by law for the emperor alone. 14 state-controlled silk factories employ thousands, their looms clacking rhythmically as weavers create brocades worth their weight in gold. Nearby, spice vendors offer cinnamon from Ceylon, pepper from Malabar, cloves from the Moluccas, goods that have traveled 6,000 kilometers along trade routes the empire protects. Russian merchants unload fox and sable furs from boats moored in the Golden Horn. Armenian goldsmiths hammer solidus coins, each containing 4.5 grams of pure gold, the currency accepted from Britain to Persia. The Hippodrome dominates the city's southeastern quarter. 100,000 spectators pack the stone tiers when chariot races begin, the crowd divided between blues and greens, factions that transcend sport, representing political and social allegiances that occasionally erupt into riots. 4 bronze horses, looted from a Greek sanctuary centuries ago, crown the starting gates. The Egyptian obelisk of Thutmose III rises from the Spina, transported here in 390 CE, its hieroglyphs still sharp. Inside the great palace complex, the throne room reveals Byzantine ceremonial at its most elaborate. Mechanical golden lions flank the throne, roaring through hidden bellows. Golden birds perch in an artificial tree, singing when courtiers approach. The emperor sits motionless, elevated on a platform, while petitioners prostrate themselves. Court hierarchy extends through dozens of titles: Sebastocrata, Caesar, Nobilissimus, Curopalats, each rank distinguished by specific silk garments, jeweled insignia, and ceremonial privileges. The city's workshops produce civilization's finest craftsmanship. Mosaic artists sort thousands of glass tesserae by color and gold content, creating images one tiny cube at a time. Manuscript illuminators grind lapis lazuli into ultramarine pigment, painting miniatures on vellum pages. Ivory carvers shape elephant tusks into diptychs and reliquaries. The techniques pass from master to apprentice in guilds that guard their secrets jealously. Public baths serve as social centers where citizens of all classes mingle. The baths of Zeuxippus accommodate thousands, their heated pools fed by aqueducts bringing water from Thracian mountains. Marble columns support vaulted ceilings. Attendants scrape oil and dirt from bathers' skin with bronze strigils. As evening falls, lamps flicker in 10,000 windows. The city never truly sleeps. Night watchmen patrol, bakers begin preparing tomorrow's bread, monks chant matins in darkened churches. Constantinople functions as a living organism, each part supporting the whole, the greatest urban achievement of the medieval world. July 16, 1054 CE, Cardinal Humbert strides into Hagia Sophia during divine liturgy, his scarlet robes a wound against the gold mosaics. He places a papal bull of excommunication on the altar, turns without genuflection, and walks out. Patriarch Michael Cerularius reads the Latin document. It declares him and all Eastern Christians heretics for using leavened bread in communion, for allowing married priests, for rejecting papal supremacy. 5 days later, the Patriarch excommunicates the papal legates. Christianity splits into Catholic West and Orthodox East, a schism that will never heal. The theological dispute masks deeper fractures: linguistic, cultural, political. Rome and Constantinople, twin capitals of a unified Christian world for 7 centuries, become rivals. August 26, 1071 CE. Near Manzikert in eastern Anatolia, Emperor Romanos IV Diogenes commands perhaps 60,000 troops facing Seljuk Turkish cavalry. The battle begins at dawn. Turkish horse archers feign retreat, drawing Byzantine heavy infantry forward. The trap springs, Turkish forces encircle the exhausted Romans. By sunset, the emperor is captured, his army shattered. The defeat opens Anatolia's heartland to Turkish settlement. Within a decade, nomadic tribes graze their horses on plains that fed Constantinople for centuries. The empire loses its primary recruiting ground and agricultural base. March 1095 CE, Emperor Alexios I Komnenos sends desperate envoys to Pope Urban II. The Turks press toward Constantinople itself. The emperor requests mercenaries, a few thousand Western knights to reclaim Anatolia. Urban sees opportunity. At Clermont in November, he proclaims a holy war to liberate Jerusalem. Tens of thousands take the cross. Spring 1097 CE. The First Crusade's armies arrive at Constantinople, not the disciplined mercenaries Alexios expected, but massive hosts of armored knights, infantry, camp followers. French, Norman, German contingents total perhaps 100,000. They camp outside the Theodosian walls, eyeing the city's wealth. Alexios extracts oaths of fealty, ferries them quickly across the Bosporus into Asia. The Crusaders capture Nicaea, Antioch, Jerusalem. But they establish their own kingdoms, refusing to return conquered territories to Byzantine control. The seeds of betrayal are planted. April 12th, 1204 CE. The Fourth Crusade's fleet fills the Golden Horn. Venetian galleys and transport ships carrying French and Flemish knights. They came to reclaim Jerusalem, but diverted to Constantinople, lured by promises of gold and a disputed imperial succession. Yesterday, their siege towers breached the sea walls. Now they pour through the streets. What follows is 3 days of systematic destruction. Knights in chainmail hack apart the bronze horses of the hippodrome to melt for coinage. They stable their horses in churches, using icons for firewood. The Library of Constantinople, repository of classical texts copied for 9 centuries, burns. Manuscripts of Sophocles, Euripides, histories, scientific treatises, irreplaceable works turn to ash. Soldiers pry gold tesserae from mosaics, strip silver revetments from columns. They smash the tomb of Justinian, scattering his bones. 2,000 civilians die in the violence. Nuns are violated in convents. The Crusaders steal the crown of thorns, fragments of the true cross, countless relics that will adorn Western cathedrals. The empire fractures. Byzantine nobles establish successor states. The Empire of Nicaea in western Anatolia, Trebizond on the Black Sea coast, Epirus in northwestern Greece. Constantinople becomes capital of a weak Latin empire that will last 57 years. The city that survived Persians, Arabs, and Bulgars falls to fellow Christians, a wound that never heals. Nicaea, spring 1205 CE. Theodore Lascaris, son-in-law of the deposed Emperor Alexios III, establishes his court in this Anatolian city 70 miles from the occupied capital. The palace he occupies is modest compared to Constantinople's grandeur, but here Byzantine civilization finds refuge. Scribes copy manuscripts in the scriptorium. The patriarch relocates his seat, maintaining ecclesiastical continuity. Purple-dyed silk still drapes the throne room. Court ceremonies preserve the elaborate protocollon, the hierarchy of titles, the proskynesis prostration, the precise ordering of processions. Theodore crowns himself emperor in 1208 CE, claiming legitimacy against the Latin usurpers. His empire controls western Anatolia's fertile valleys, Greek cities along the Aegean coast, and the crucial trade routes connecting the interior to the sea. Trebizond, perched on the Black Sea's southern shore, becomes another Byzantine fragment. Alexios I Komnenos, grandson of Emperor Andronikos I, establishes his own empire here in April 1204, just days before Constantinople's fall. The city clings to steep slopes between mountains and sea, isolated, defensible. Its palace overlooks harbor waters where ships from Crimea, Georgia, and Persia dock with furs, slaves, and silk from the eastern trade routes. Trebizond's emperors maintain the full Byzantine ceremonial, though their realm extends barely beyond the coastal strip and mountain valleys. The empire will outlast Constantinople itself, surviving until 1461 CE. Epirus in northwestern Greece forms the third successor state. Michael I Komnenos Doukas rules from Arta, controlling territory from the Adriatic to Thessaly. His court preserves Greek language and Orthodox faith, rejecting any accommodation with the Latin occupiers. Constantinople under Latin rule decays. Baldwin I, crowned emperor in Hagia Sophia by a papal legate, presides over a fractured realm. The Latins cannot maintain the city's infrastructure. Aqueducts crack. The great palace's golden halls stand empty, its mechanical thrones silent. The population drops below 40,000. Venetians control 3/8 of the city and the maritime trade. The Latin Empire hemorrhages territory. Bulgarian Tsar Kaloyan defeats and captures Baldwin in 1205 CE. By 1230 CE, Latin control extends barely beyond Constantinople's walls. Nicaea grows stronger. John III Vatatzes, succeeding Theodore in 1222 CE, transforms the exile state into a functioning empire. His armies reclaim territories in Thrace and Macedonia. He establishes a silk industry, breaking Venice's monopoly. Gold hyperpyra coins minted in Nicaea circulate through Anatolia. The empire's treasury fills through efficient tax collection and agricultural productivity. Vatatzes lives modestly, wearing patched robes, investing in military strength rather than ceremony. July 25, 1261 CE. Michael VIII, Palaiologos, who seized Nicaea's throne 2 years earlier, receives astonishing news. His general Alexios Strategopoulos, leading a reconnaissance force of 800 men, discovers Constantinople's garrison absent. Venetian ships have sailed to attack a Black Sea port. The Byzantines enter through an unguarded gate. Citizens open doors, welcoming their return. The Latin Emperor Baldwin II flees to Venice. Michael enters Constantinople on August 15, 1261 CE, the feast of the Dormition. He walks through the Golden Gate, the triumphal entrance unused since Heraclius returned from Persia 6 centuries before. The procession moves along the Mese toward Hagia Sophia. The great church has survived, its mosaics intact beneath Latin alterations. Michael prostrates himself before the altar, offering thanksgiving. The patriarch crowns him emperor in the cathedral, where Byzantine emperors have been crowned for 900 years. The restored empire is a shadow. Michael controls Constantinople, Thrace, and scattered Greek territories. Anatolia fragments under Turkish pressure. The treasury is empty. The Theodosian walls need repair. Yet Byzantine civilization has survived its darkest hour, returned from exile to reclaim its ancient capital. The restored empire bleeds territory with each passing decade. By 1300 CE, Byzantine control extends barely beyond Constantinople's walls and a few Aegean islands. Anatolia, the empire's heartland for 8 centuries, falls to Turkish beyliks, small warrior principalities carving the landscape into competing domains. One beylik, led by Osman I, expands from its base near Nicaea, the city that once sheltered Byzantine civilization in exile. Ottoman forces capture Bursa in 1326 CE, establishing their first capital on former Byzantine soil. The Palaiologan emperors watch their realm contract like a dying star. They cannot pay soldiers. The Theodosian walls crumble in sections, lacking funds for repair. The population of Constantinople shrinks to 50,000, vast neighborhoods abandoned, weeds growing through marble forums. Yet the Great Palace still houses emperors, Hagia Sophia's gold mosaics still catch candlelight, and scribes still copy manuscripts in monastery scriptoria. December 1439, CE Emperor John VIII Palaiologos returns from the Council of Florence, carrying a document of church union with Rome. He has accepted papal supremacy, hoping Western military aid will save the empire from Ottoman Sultan Murad II's expanding power. Constantinople's clergy and people reject the union. They remember 1204, the Latin betrayal. Better the Ottoman turban than the papal tiara. Priests whisper in churches. Sultan Mehmed II ascends the Ottoman throne in February 1451 CE, age 19, burning with ambition to conquer the city that has defied Islamic armies for 8 centuries. He builds Rumeli Hizara fortress on the Bosporus's European shore in 1452 CE, its stone towers rising in 4 months, cannons commanding the strait. Constantinople is now blockaded by land and sea. Hungarian engineer Orban offers Mehmed a weapon. Through winter 1452 to 1453 CE, bronze founders cast a cannon 8 meters long, requiring 60 oxen to move, capable of hurling stone balls weighing 600 kilograms. Orban casts 68 more cannons of various sizes. The foundries work without pause, pouring molten bronze into clay molds, the glow visible across the Bosporus. April 6, 1453 CE, 80,000 Ottoman soldiers surround Constantinople's landward walls. Mehmed's tent, red and gold silk, rises on the Lycus Valley slope, positioned to observe the siege. Inside the city, Emperor Constantine XI Palaiologos commands 7,000 defenders, Byzantine soldiers, Genoese volunteers under Giovanni Giustiniani, a few Venetian sailors. The population prays in Hagia Sophia, icons carried through streets in procession. The bombardment begins. Orban's great cannon fires 7 times daily, each shot requiring 2 hours to cool and reload. Stone balls smash into the Theodosian wall's outer fortifications, pulverizing limestone blocks that have stood for 1,000 years. Smaller cannons maintain constant fire. The walls shake, cracks spreading through ancient mortar. May 29th, 1453 CE, 1 hour before dawn. Ottoman assault troops mass in the darkness. Mehmed has ordered a final attack after 53 days of siege. The great cannon has opened a breach near the Lycus Valley's lowest point. Janissaries surge forward, scaling ladders against damaged walls, arquebuses firing. Giovanni Giustiniani falls wounded, carried from the walls. Constantine XI strips off his imperial regalia, drawing his sword, disappearing into the melee at the breach. His body is never identified. Ottoman soldiers pour through the broken walls as sunrise illuminates the Golden Horn. By midday, Mehmed II rides through the Augustine Square toward Hagia Sophia. He dismounts, enters the great cathedral, orders it converted to a mosque. The empire that Constantine I founded on May 11th, 330 CE, ends after 1,123 years. The longest continuous political entity in European history, extinguished by Hungarian bronze and Ottoman determination. Within weeks of Constantinople's fall, ships carry fleeing scholars westward across the Mediterranean. Cardinal Bessarion arrives in Venice with trunks of Greek manuscripts, Plato's complete dialogues, Aristotle's scientific treatises, Ptolemy's astronomical calculations. The Venetian printing press of Aldus Manutius begins producing Greek texts in 1495, making classical knowledge accessible beyond monastery walls. In Florence, Marsilio Ficino translates Plato's works from Byzantine manuscripts, igniting philosophical revolution. The Renaissance explodes from this Byzantine seed, humanist scholars rediscovering ancient wisdom preserved through 1,000 years of Islamic and Crusader invasions. Roman law survives through Justinian's 6th century codification. The Corpus Juris Civilis, copied and studied in Byzantine scriptoria for 9 centuries, becomes the foundation of European legal systems. The University of Bologna adopts it in the 12th century. Napoleon's civil code draws directly from Justinian's principles. Modern contract law, property rights, and legal procedures trace lineage to Byzantine jurisprudence. Orthodox Christianity spreads northward through Byzantine missionary work. Saints Cyril and Methodius create the Cyrillic alphabet in the 9th century, translating liturgy for Slavic peoples. Grand Prince Vladimir of Kiev converts in 988 CE after Byzantine missionaries demonstrate their faith. When Constantinople falls, Ivan III of Moscow marries Sophia Palaiologina, niece of the last emperor, in 1472. Moscow declares itself the Third Rome, inheritor of Byzantine spiritual authority. The Russian Orthodox Church preserves Byzantine liturgical traditions, iconography, and theological texts. Today, 300 million Orthodox Christians worldwide practice faith shaped by Byzantine theology. Byzantine artistic techniques transform Islamic architecture. Ottoman architects study Hagia Sophia's dome construction, applying its principles to the Suleymaniye and Blue mosques. Persian miniature painting adopts Byzantine gold leaf backgrounds and hierarchical figure scaling. In the West, Venetian mosaicists train under Byzantine masters, creating St. Mark's Basilica's glittering interiors. Duccio and Cimabue study Byzantine icon painting's formal composition before developing Italian Renaissance styles. The empire's diplomatic protocols become standard international practice. Byzantine ambassadors pioneered formal treaty negotiations, gift exchanges establishing hierarchy, and intelligence gathering through trade missions. The concept of balance of power, playing enemies against each other, originates in Byzantine statecraft. Modern diplomatic immunity derives from Byzantine practices protecting foreign envoys. Constantinople becomes Ottoman Istanbul, yet Byzantine monuments endure. The Theodosian walls stand after 5 centuries of Turkish rule. Hagia Sophia, converted to a mosque in 1453, becomes a museum in 1935, revealing Christian mosaics beneath Ottoman plaster. The Kora Church's 14th-century frescoes survive, depicting Byzantine artistic achievement at its final flowering. In libraries across Europe, scholars examine Byzantine manuscripts on vellum, their gold leaf and ultramarine pigments still brilliant. These texts preserved not only Greek and Roman classics, but Byzantine innovations. Greek fire's chemical principles, architectural engineering, medical treatises, agricultural techniques. The empire that fell in 1453 continues shaping law, faith, art, and governance across 3 continents. Thank you for joining this journey through Byzantine civilization. Subscribe to witness more ancient worlds brought back to life through careful historical reconstruction.